Hello and welcome to my talk on top tips for aspirational students. So today I'm going to be talking to you about taking ownership of your career journey. So first off, who am I? I'm Sophie Clarke, Senior Growth Marketing Executive at Reflect Digital, and just 5 years ago I was in the same shoes as you in year 13, year 12, wondering what the hell I was going to do with my career. I'm a former student at MGGS, so I'm around this area, so I know this area well and I know the opportunities that can be available for you. So yeah, 5 years ago I was really unsure of what I wanted to do. I knew what I enjoyed in my A-levels, but I really didn't know what it was going to take me to and what the next steps were going to be. So what I'm going to do today is run through what I went through, where I kind of got advice, help from, and then hopefully that can give you some top tips when you're taking these next steps in your career journey. So first off, I attended a careers fair back in 2018 at my school. These are hosted, I'm pretty sure, by most schools, and I would really encourage attending them. We had to attend because we were trying to find a week of work experience. So we were allocated a week of work experience by our school, and we needed to find some work experience to complete in that week. So what I did was, when we found out about the careers fair, we received a list of all the companies that were coming and what kind of sectors they were in, and what different kind of skills you could use. Reflect Digital instantly stood out to me because they did digital marketing, and I knew I loved the marketing section of my business A-level, so I just knew instantly that I wanted to have a conversation. When I got into the careers fair itself and saw their amazing branding, I was like, yeah, this is absolutely where I want to be. It was right up my street, so yeah, I knew I wanted to have a conversation. So I instantly went over and spoke to Becky. So Becky is the CEO of Reflect Digital. You might have met her today. I know she is doing a few talks. So yeah, she was incredible. We had a really good conversation, and actually whilst writing this deck, I spoke to Becky and she said, you know, she instantly wrote my name down following on from our conversation because it just felt right. I stood out to her. She'd spoken with loads of other students, and none had quite felt like the conversation we had. And I think that was all from me, you know, being really interested in the company themselves, really asking a lot of questions, being really curious. And then, yeah, we kind of instantly, she said, yep, here's my email, follow up with me, let's talk more. So literally instantly, as soon as I left that careers fair, I went into Sixth Form Central and wrote my email to Becky saying, look, this is when the week of work experience is. This is why I really want to get into your industry. Please let me know if there's anything more I can provide you with, because yeah, I was really passionate about getting into the industry. Following on from that, I completed my week of work experience, so I was very lucky to be able to do that, and I absolutely loved it. So it just instantly felt like the right fit. I had a great week. You know, I did a lot of tasks for clients, I did tasks myself, so I actually presented to the team a presentation around psychology, because that was the A-level I was studying as well, and it was just brilliant. And following on from that, I then also did continue to do work experience in my afternoon study periods, like home study. So yeah, I continued to come back to Reflect after that. In that initial week, me and Becky also spoke about how she wants to kind of talk more to students around the offerings that digital have and all the different jobs you can get in the digital marketing industry. So we had that conversation, and following on from that, I went back to the school and spoke to my business teacher around this amazing opportunity to kind of host an event, which Becky had kind of said to me about. And that really is where Aspiration Digital was born. So I attended Aspiration Digital back in 2019, the very first one when I was a student. And I was really lucky to be able to attend that day. It was just incredible and completely like so much value from it, and stuff that I still remember to this day. So I really hope that you, coming out of this Aspiration Digital event this year, I really hope that you feel the same way that I did when I first attended. So on this day, there were loads of speakers there, but one that really stuck in my mind was Mark Gaisford. So this is a picture of me and Mark since then, because we still kept in contact. And Mark did an amazing speech about LinkedIn and the power of being on LinkedIn as a student. I've actually linked Mark's speech here because it is incredible, so if you get the opportunity, please do give it a listen. But yeah, he spoke about the fundamentals of LinkedIn, how to get started on it, which I'm hoping that some of that he's taught me, I can then give to you because it was just incredible. So first off, what is LinkedIn? Because I know that some people have it, some people don't, but LinkedIn is basically a networking social platform for work. So a lot of people people have different opinions on it, and some people use it more for personal, but fundamentally it is for work-related purposes. So I really like to use it as my CV. I like to use it to share knowledge. I like to use it to gain knowledge because a lot of people share industry insights on LinkedIn. So I guess for you guys today, it's how do you get started on LinkedIn? And this is what I had 5 years ago of where do I even start? Like, I don't feel like I had any knowledge to bring to LinkedIn, so it can be really tricky to kind of find your feet and what you should be doing on LinkedIn. So let's just run through it. So first off, I set up an about page, so that's kind of your profile on LinkedIn. Now, obviously mine looks very different now to how it used to look because obviously now I've got my job, I've got experience behind me, I've got loads of other things that I can talk about on here. But as a student, I initially just set this up with a profile picture of me, smiling. I just took a selfie of me smiling. And then I had on the cover, I used Canva to create kind of like just my name, had some nice colours around it, and then I actually just put a little bit to kind of summarise who I was. So I actually put Sophie Clarke, digital marketing enthusiast, because I wanted people to know instantly when they looked at my page who I was and what I was interested in. Now, underneath my name, you can put the opportunity to kind of put whatever you want here. So I like to keep it quite simple on mine, just Senior Growth Marketing Executive at Reflect Digital, but other people do different things. You can also include your location on there. So if you're living in London, you're looking for a London job, you can include that on there. And it just helps people to give you a bit of an idea of who you are and where you're based. So just to give you a few examples of how different people have used this. So for example, Grace, who is a student who I used to work with on kind of her next steps, she had hers as a student. She needs to update it, which I'm going to remind her of. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that you guys could do when you first start out on LinkedIn. We've got other people. So for example, one of my family is in the beer industry. So he's got, beer bottle caps as his background. So you can be really creative with it, or you can keep it nice and simple. I also love Eloise. So she is a TikTok creator, and she runs the company Truly 20s, which is incredible. And as someone in my 20s, I absolutely love watching her content. But what I love about hers is that she's put featured work in where kind of like her kind of milestone moments, they're all in there, which I think is brilliant and a great way to kind of almost instantly show your CV and all the amazing things you've done. So yeah, that's also great. And she's also done talks about, so she's done hashtags of what she talks about on her page, which is a great way as well if you're looking to more be like a LinkedIn kind of influencer, as it were. The next section is about me. So mine's on the left hand side. I like to keep mine nice and simple, but actually having looked at other people's whilst writing this deck, I'm inspired to do even more with my LinkedIn. So actually this one here is Eloise, and it's just incredible the way she's laid out. It's truly representative of who she is as a person and what her page speaks about. So as a student, on this bit, I wrote about subjects that I liked, things I was passionate about, hobbies, any of that kind of stuff. So it doesn't have to be, here's all the experience I've got in this industry. It can really be tailored to you and what you enjoy and what you're passionate about. So where do you even start? Well, here are some question prompts which you could take away and start to write your About Me section. So, for example, what characteristics about yourself are you proud of? Are you organised? Are you a great listener? Are you really good at presentation? Like all of that kind of stuff you can talk about. What subjects do you enjoy studying? You know, do you really love your business or your English literature or whatever? Are there certain books in your English literature A-level that you're particularly enjoying? Do you have any hobbies, extracurricular activities? You know, have you done bronze DOV, gold DOV, any of them? Have you volunteered anywhere? Have you done any charity work? Do you play sport? Do you dance? All of that kind of stuff you can talk about as well. What are you passionate about? Are there certain things in the world that you're really passionate about? Like, do you love having conversation around politics? Or do you love having conversation around mental health? All of those kind of things you can talk about as well. What is your next step in your career? So do you know whether you want to go into an apprenticeship, go straight into a job, go to uni? And it's okay to do any of them. There's not a particular one that is better. I went straight into a job and I would recommend that. But also a lot of my friends went to uni and absolutely loved it. So yeah, it's totally up to you. What do you want to do in the future? Is there a certain job you're looking to go for in a certain company? You know, like, do you want to work in ASOS in their styling team, for example? So it can be really clear. And then, have you done any work experience as well? So those are just a couple of things, but also you can write about anything you want to write about in your About Me section. The next part is experience. So this is just to summarise what my experience is. So I worked at Reflect for 2 years. I then went away and worked at Ted Baker and then did Knight Frank for a bit, and then I've come back because I just love Reflect Digital so much. But it was really good for me to get that experience elsewhere. Bigger brands, you know, bigger businesses where there's a lot more going on, a lot more people, you know, interweaved in decision making. And also that's really helped now with, you know, understanding my clients and the way that their businesses work. But yeah, so this kind of, I use this as my CV. So in all of my different sections, I've summarised exactly what I did in that role. It can be quite lengthy because, you know, some jobs have more stuff that you need to do, but yeah, it's a really good way of outlining everything that you've covered in your different careers. So yeah, obviously when I first started, mine did not look like this, but I did put in any work placement I'd done and just kept it, you know, did maybe more detailed summaries around what work experience I'd done and what exactly I'd done in that work experience. Just to help kind of really build the picture of what I was up to in my early career. Now, one of the other things that obviously comes with LinkedIn, and as I've just said, I like to use my LinkedIn as a CV, but one of the other things that comes in is actually building your CV out so that you can use, so something that LinkedIn does is easy apply. So if you are looking for careers, you can use the easy apply section, and it's a much quicker way for companies to get applicants in. You don't have to necessarily do as lengthy of a process as sometimes companies do make you do. So yeah, this basically, what you can do is you can use your LinkedIn and set it all up, and then you can basically, on your more section of your account, you can click save to PDF, and it generates something like this, which basically shows all of the top skills. So one part of LinkedIn is like your endorsements, so people can endorse certain skills if they've worked with you or if they know you. Certifications, all of the summary, so the About Me section, the experience section, any awards I've done. So yeah, it can basically make you quite a quick and easy CV if you haven't got time or kind of you don't know how to lay it out. This can really help you to do that. Another way to do it is to save, so on, just back on that, you can click build a resume instead. This is how it does it on build a resume, so it pulls it out more like a LinkedIn profile. So it really depends on what you prefer, and then you can choose your desired job title. So for example, I just put senior marketing exec because that's the closest one to what my job is. but it basically helps to kind of then tailor the job vacancies that you see on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. Or you can go for option 3, which is where you build out your own CV. Now, I remember Becky telling me this actually when I first kind of started talking to her, was that CVs can be the pain of people's lives, especially for people that are recruiting for a lot of roles. And it can be because, you know, a lot of people do CVs in black and white. They can be a bit bland, a bit boring, and you've got to really read the detail to understand who this person is. Whereas with mine, personally, because I am in an agency role and I am very creative and very, you know, extroverted, I like to put mine a bit more bold and out there. Now, I've not done anything fancy here. Like, this is not, I've not spent hours on this. I've not used a load of Photoshop and, you know, Adobe, all of these kind of creative platforms. I've literally used a website called My CV Maker. You pay, I think, like £3 and you can create your own CV. They have loads of different templates that you can use, and basically I just wanted to make mine a bit more bold and out there. So just having the pink line down the side with my photo on it instantly shows people who I am, and kind of that I am a bit more creative and fun than just a plain black and white CV. But it really is dependent on the job you're going for. For example, if I was going into finance and I had a bright pink CV, maybe it wouldn't fit as well. But it's really understanding the industry that you're going into and what kind of you can get away with, I guess. Back to LinkedIn. So once you've gone through the process of setting up your profile, it's then really important to start connecting with like-minded people. So for example, when you put in your profile, you put in your school that you're currently at or that you've been at, and it basically sends you recommendations of people from your school. So you can connect instantly with your friends that are on LinkedIn, because I hope that you're all going to go on LinkedIn after watching this talk. But yeah, you can connect with loads of people. You can also connect with friends and family. So that's what I did straight away. I connected with, I think, my mum, my dad and my sister, that were all on LinkedIn, and just from there I was like, oh, I can also connect with my uncle, I can also connect with so-and-so's, you know, mum's friend or dad's friend, and instantly you're growing out your connections. But also you can then start connecting with people that are in the industry you want to go into. So I pretty much I started my LinkedIn on Aspiration Digital Day after Mark's talk. I, you know, connected with Mark, with Becky, with all of the speakers that were at the event. What I would recommend today, if you are inspired from this talk and you want to connect with people on LinkedIn, I would instantly suggest connecting with the people that you've spoken with today. Now on this, it's not just a case of, I'll connect, done. I would recommend you adding a personal note into those connection requests. So for example, if I was to connect with Becky after listening to her talk today, I would say, hi Becky, it was great to meet you at Aspiration Digital. I really enjoyed your talk on X, Y and Z. Really hoping to connect to understand more about your industry. Thanks so much, Sophie. Really quick and easy, nothing too complicated. You don't need to compliment the hell out of people to get a connection request, but it's, you know, for example, I will be speaking to a lot of people today. I might not remember everyone's name that I've spoken to, so to be able to see those connection requests and understand that that person has been at my talk today and that's why they're wanting to connect, makes it a lot easier, because you can get a lot of requests for connections on LinkedIn and they can be totally random. So I would always suggest, if you're connecting with someone for a specific reason, always add a message. Once you've started connecting with people and you kind of build out your connections that you've got, you can then start posting content. Now this is from when I first started on LinkedIn. So I really started posting about, well, the first thing I posted about was Aspiration Digital, because that was obviously the event that inspired me. I tagged people that were at the event, that I listened to their talks. I added hashtags in there to really kind of draw into the specific industries that I was talking about. I then posted about the blog that I'd done for my week of work experience. So you can also backdate it. It doesn't have to be, oh, I've joined LinkedIn now, I have to talk about everything from now on. You can backdate, it's not a problem. I did some video work for the school. I did a speech at the school. It was sixth form open evening. I did a speech. I got my friends to record it and I posted it on there, because it's all about not just showing like you're involved in a certain industry and you're passionate about a certain industry, but it's all about showing your skills as well. So presenting, being able to write a blog, you know, attending events, so it shows you're proactive. So yeah, there's loads of reasons why you should be posting on LinkedIn. Now, the only reason I say about posting on LinkedIn is because I'm so lucky that so many opportunities opened up for me from posting on LinkedIn. So, and the reason I say about like skills is because if I hadn't shown those skills, I maybe wouldn't have had the opportunities that I'd had. So for example, I spoke on Kent Business, Chris & Co.'s radio about digital marketing kind of opportunities, the school curriculum. I spoke about that. I presented at Google's head office around why schools should be using Google kind of suite in their career, in the education system, and why it's so important. I attended LinkedIn Live student events. Like, it opened up so many doors for me. And I also got my school colours because of all of these extracurricular activities I was doing outside of school. So it really is beneficial to be proactive. Now, obviously, now I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry for 4 or 5 years-ish. I've then been able to kind of talk more about other things that we're doing. So I've done a lot of very different posts, and this is why I say it can also be personal stuff. So here's a photo of me and my friends on our group holiday. But I've linked it back to my work. So I said, oh, once in a lifetime trip to go to Portugal with 19 friends. And then when I came back, all of these opportunities opened up for me at work. So yeah, you can really mix it up. I've written about blog posts that I've written for Reflect Digital, so that's still the same as when I was a student. And then I've also written about culture, things that are happening in Reflect Digital. So whether it's a new thing we're trialling, so we've tried like a Monday moment of mute, where you have an hour of just no Slack, no emails, just really cracking on with some work. So I spoke about that. We're, doing LinkedIn Learning. So yeah, there's loads of stuff you can talk about. You don't have to be an expert in anything to be able to talk about different things that you're doing. It's all about just, sharing insightful knowledge, whether that is a blog post you've written or, some exciting like personal achievements as well. So let's go back and summarise what we have spoken about today. So here are the top tips. Be present. So when you're going to a careers fair, make the most out of it, have the conversations. And what goes with that? Be curious. Ask the questions that you really care about and you really want to know the answer. Don't ask for the sake of it. If you genuinely, are passionate about something, really ask the questions that matter to you and that you're going to be interested in learning about. Be proactive. Get on LinkedIn, and that's going to be my most important recommendation for today. And just start learning, attend any events that you can. And I'm so glad that you're all here today, because that shows that you are being proactive in your next steps. But if there's industry news that you can read up on it. Listen to podcasts. There's so many out there now. And most importantly, go for gold. And that's reflecting on one of our internal values of going for gold. But it really rings true in everything, and especially when it comes to your career development. It's the cringy saying, but shoot for the moon and you'll land among the stars. Like, really just go for what you want to go for, because no one's going to do this kind of next step for you. It's you that has to take kind of hold of the steering wheel and really steer your own career journey. I hope you've enjoyed the talk today. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. This is the QR code. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all the connections and all of you take this next step in your career journey.